Hello. Have you ever met someone who might have been just a 5 or 6 on a conventional attraction scale, but had such charisma that you couldn't help but be drawn to them? You felt captivated by that person. Conversely, I'm sure you've seen celebrities or people who are like a 9 out of 10, but whose negative energy completely killed the attraction. They may look like movie stars, but their attitude is disastrous. Here's the good news. A lot of that energy and charisma can be taught. Much of attraction is based on energetic dynamics, and in this video, we're going to go over 10 tips that will make anyone more attractive. I'm aware that when you talk about attraction, people automatically assume you're claiming to be the most attractive person. That's not what I'm saying, and it's not the message I want to convey. However, these 10 tips have helped me a lot, and I've shared them with friends and clients who have used them. They came back to me saying, "Hey, my interactions have completely changed. I want you to listen carefully and maybe find 1 or 2 things that really resonate with you. Try them out and see what happens." Do interesting things. I heard a fascinating story about a very well-known writer, an author whose name you probably recognize. This writer had a unique approach to life and writing. He didn't just sit behind his desk writing words. He filled his weeks with exciting activities and adventures that provided him with a wealth of stories to tell. For him, the #1 point was to live interesting experiences. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you tried a new hobby? I'm not talking about doing it to make money or start a business, but simply out of curiosity and a desire to explore. In our modern world, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind, focusing on work and obligations, and forgetting the importance of nurturing our curiosity. Yet, it's often in those moments of exploration that we discover passions that can enrich our lives and conversations. Obsessions, whether related to music, art, sports, or any other field, are excellent conversation starters. When you're passionate about something, it becomes a real attraction mechanism. People are naturally drawn to those who show enthusiasm and passion. For example, if you talk to me about pop punk, metalcore, hardcore, or drumming, I'll dive down a rabbit hole on YouTube and get lost in videos and discussions about those topics. It's amazing how a simple passion can create deep connections between people. I remember a date I had with a guy who had a captivating personality. He started talking about a conspiracy theory for 20 minutes, and while the topic might seem silly, he was so passionate and convinced about what he was saying that it became fascinating. His passion was contagious, and I found myself increasingly interested in what he had to say. That's where the magic lies. When someone speaks with conviction and enthusiasm, it captures the attention of others. Imagine going out with someone who starts discussing the state of the world with such intensity that you can't help but listen. 2 words: hollow earth. That kind of passion, even for controversial or unconventional topics, can create an attraction dynamic. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever been drawn to someone simply because they were so passionate about a subject, whether it was art, science, music, or even conspiracy theories? Ultimately, the key is to do interesting things. Explore new hobbies, engage in activities that intrigue you, and cultivate your passions. This will not only make you more interesting in the eyes of others, but it will also enrich your own life. When you allow yourself to explore and discover new things, you open the door to enriching conversations and authentic connections. So, don't hesitate to step out of your comfort zone. Whether it's taking a dance class, learning to play a musical instrument, joining a book club, or even trying your hand at cooking, every new experience can become a source of inspiration and enthusiasm. Do interesting things, and you'll not only become more interesting, but you'll also attract others to you. Passion is contagious, and by sharing your discoveries, you might just inspire others to do the same. Smile. This has been hard to hear, but I'm grateful that someone had the courage to tell me. I have what's called a resting face. This means that even when everything is fine, I tend to look a bit angry or distant. Take these 2 examples. Nothing is wrong. I'm completely relaxed. Believe it or not, I'm just listening. Yet, look how much warmer and more welcoming it seems. What's the difference? The second point to remember is the importance of smiling. Smile right now. I'm not talking about a forced smile like the one you give for a class photo, where your mom makes you wear a sweater you hate. You know that moment when you think, "I don't want to wear this, Mom, it's really ugly." Instead, think of an example from your own life. You took a picture with a partner, a friend, or a family member, and you thought you were smiling. But when you looked at the photo, you said, "Why do I look so angry?" "No," I smiled, but it didn't come through. When you smile during conversations while talking to people or taking photos, it gives off an impression of warmth and approachability. It makes it seem like you're having fun, and who wouldn't want to spend time with people who seem to be enjoying themselves? A simple smile can transform your expression and make your interactions much more engaging. The outfit. Let's talk about the importance of your outfit. Yes, what you wear matters, and I'm not claiming to be a fashion expert or the most stylish person out there. However, I've gained a lot of knowledge in this area, and I really appreciate this aspect of life. The good news is that changing your appearance is one of the simplest ways to become more attractive and confident, as it is largely under your control, especially if you're a man. If you're fit, wear well-fitted clothes, and take care of your appearance, you can really look great. Here are 3 practical tips to follow. First, keep it simple, gentlemen. Go for black, white, or gray shirts, dark jeans, and black or white shoes. With this type of wardrobe, you'll look good effortlessly. No need for big brands or flashy clothes. By keeping your style super simple, you'll already be about 80% of the way to a polished look. Second, invest in an iron or a steamer. Nothing ruins an outfit faster than pulling a wrinkled t-shirt out of your laundry basket. It's so easy to fix, and you can find a steamer for about $30 on Amazon. A well-pressed garment makes all the difference and shows that you care about your appearance. Third, don't forget about your hairstyle. For me, I make sure to get my hair cut every 3 to 4 weeks. My point is that you don't need to spend a fortune to look sharp. A regular, neat haircut can really enhance your overall appearance without requiring a bank loan. In summary, by paying attention to your outfit, keeping things simple, and investing in a few essentials, you can significantly improve your style and confidence. The vibe. In my 20s, I went through a tough time marked by depression. If you've ever experienced this, you know how easy it is to get stuck in bed, with no desire to do anything, feeling low energy. To pull myself out, I started watching stand-up comedy shows and immersing myself in humor. What I realized is that after an hour of laughter, I no longer felt depressed at all. I remember a notification from Netflix saying, "Are you still watching?" It was Netflix's passive-aggressive way of asking, "Hey, are you okay?" It's almost impossible to maintain a negative emotion while feeling a positive one. By starting to laugh more, whether with others or making people laugh, I noticed that it not only elevated their energy, but also made me more charismatic and magnetic. Research on laughter shows that it has many benefits. It boosts the immune system, reduces stress, and when you laugh, your body even releases endorphins, which are natural painkillers. Anthropologists say that laughter is actually a social bonding mechanism, ingrained in us to connect with those we share joyful moments with. Don't suppress your laughter. Don't tell yourself, "That's funny, but I need to stay serious." It's perfectly okay to be a little more relaxed, a little more chill, a little more cool. In the end, the one who has the most fun is the one who wins. Laughter is a powerful antidote to sadness and isolation. By incorporating more humor into my life, I not only improve my personal well-being, but also strengthen my relationships with others. Shared moments of laughter create lasting memories and deep bonds, so don't hesitate to embrace your sense of humor and share it with those around you. You might be surprised by the positive impact it can have on your life and the lives of others. Confidence, I'll touch on this topic in a moment. If you do a Google search on this, I guarantee the first thing that will come up is the idea of confidence. Have you ever thought about simply being confident, acting as if you are? It's undeniably attractive. Here's what I've learned. Confidence comes from competence. It's indeed very difficult to be confident in areas you don't master. I believe that self-confidence is closely linked to self-awareness. People who have good self-awareness exude a certain aura, and you often wonder, how do they do that? But then how do you develop this self-awareness? There are several ways, such as coaching, therapy, life lessons, and many more. For me, one method that has been particularly beneficial is keeping a journal. Writing regularly in a journal has allowed me to better understand my thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It has helped me identify my strengths and weaknesses, reflect on my experiences, and learn from my mistakes. By taking the time to put my thoughts on paper, I've been able to clarify my goals and aspirations, which has boosted my self-confidence. Self-awareness doesn't develop overnight, but with practice and patience, it can become second nature. By engaging in this process, you'll not only discover who you truly are, but you'll also learn to accept yourself as you are. This will enable you to act confidently in various situations, whether in your personal, professional, or social relationships. In the end, confidence is a valuable asset that can transform your life. By cultivating your self-awareness and developing your skills, you'll be able to present yourself to the world with assurance and authenticity. So don't hesitate to explore tools like journaling to help you on this journey toward greater self-confidence. Ask questions. This is something we can probably all agree on. There's nothing worse than going out with a group of friends and having that one person who literally monopolizes the mic every chance they get. They bring the conversation back to themselves. You just got back from Italy and they say, "I went there 5 years ago and I noticed." You can see people's eyes glaze over like, "Oh my God, not again." The worst part is they're not listening when you talk. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. Oh, can you just finish so I can talk? What's the opposite? Because if you do the opposite, it's good. Asking questions, literally just asking questions, is like handing the mic to someone else. I used this with a guy in a group, and every time we went to these places, the stagehands would say, "Dude, is that guy with you?" It's like you were the only thing that mattered when you were talking to them. Try this and start asking questions. Body language. Have you ever received a message from someone asking, "What time are you coming home?" and interpreted it negatively, as if the person was angry or yelling at you? A lot of communication happens through subcommunication and body language. Imagine two people standing next to each other, one having low self-confidence and low energy. How do they behave in terms of body language? They're hunched over, their breathing is shallow, what I call the iPhone posture. They literally bring themselves down. Now look at the other person, confident and fun, who doesn't take themselves too seriously. What's their body language like? It's fluid, relaxed, and laid back. Before I started making YouTube videos, I often felt too stiff or intense, and I'd tell myself, relax, be more playful. It completely changes the vibe and energy. Here's another interesting tip. I spent time with a guy I admired a lot in my 20s, Tony, and he had a phrase that stuck with me. He said, "You should breathe into your balls." If you're feeling tense and your body language is closed off, try taking deep breaths using your diaphragm, then focus on your lower belly. Do 2 or 3 of these breaths and tell me if you don't feel different. It will help you relax and release tension. It's truly revolutionary. Isn't it funny how dogs recognize their own name as well as certain words like come, play, or eat? Even if they don't understand English, they identify their name because you've used it so many times. For them, it's a part of their identity, something that defines them. This advice is about using people's names, as highlighted by Dale Carnegie in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, published nearly 100 years ago. Remember that someone's name is the most pleasant sound in any language. It's important not to say things like, "I'm really bad with names, what's yours again?" That gives the impression that you don't care about the person. On the other hand, if someone remembers your name after hearing it once or twice, it makes you feel like that person is paying attention and cares about you. Using people's names can strengthen your relationships and create a stronger bond. Authenticity. This is something we've probably all been guilty of in 2019. I remember looking at my Instagram and thinking, who is this guy? I don't talk like that. I don't pose like that. What am I doing? It was embarrassing. Have you ever felt that way, like you posted something and thought, oh, maybe I'm being too hard on myself? Looking back at those cringe-worthy Instagram days, I realized I was playing a role, thinking that this version of me would be more liked than the real me. I was afraid that if I was sincere and vulnerable, or if I showed my true personality, it wouldn't be appealing. So I decided to drop those facades and share what felt natural, my way of speaking, my appearance, my behavior. People started telling me, hey, I feel like your energy has changed. The message here is to be real. Authenticity can't be taught because by definition it wouldn't be authentic. It must be felt. And when you're sincere, you allow connections to form as they happen around imperfections. I have an example for this. This battery has Velcro on it. See those rough edges? That's how it connects. If two things are too smooth, there's nothing to grab onto, nothing to connect with. When you're truly vulnerable and authentic, people can get closer to you and form deeper connections, and that's what makes you attractive. Emotional intelligence. If you ask people what they find attractive, one of the most common answers is, I want someone who is intelligent. But what do people really mean by intelligence? Are they talking about someone who can recite the Pythagorean theorem and the quadratic equation and who makes their heart melt? I don't think that's it. I believe many people are referring to emotional intelligence, or EQ, rather than IQ. It's often underestimated. How do you react when things get tough? Do you get angry, blame others, or stay calm and composed? A piece of advice I received from a therapist about communicating emotions is very useful. Avoid accusations like you. Instead, focus on three things: your needs, your feelings, and your desires, because no one can contest what you want, what you feel, or what you need. If you can keep your cool when things get complicated, that's very attractive. If you're interested in social relationship tips and self-confidence, I'll link a video here. It talks about very enlightening topics, some of which we've discussed here, but it's always good to review them, and it will make you more attractive too. I'll see you in that video. In summary, attractiveness is not solely based on physical traits or academic knowledge, but on deeper qualities. Being authentic, expressing your needs and feelings constructively, and establishing sincere connections with others are essential elements for attracting people to you. By cultivating these skills and being true to yourself, you can not only strengthen your relationships, but also become a more attractive person in the eyes of others. Remember that authenticity and vulnerability are strengths, and by embracing them, you will open the door to deeper and more meaningful connections. So, commit to being the best version of yourself and sharing your true essence with the world.